Thanks for staying with us. A continued course of dispute and dissent among Catholic bishops in Germany, even as they say they won't break away from the church. More than 60 German bishops met with Pope Francis last week. It was an apparent opportunity to come to the table and hash things out as the church in Germany continues its synodal way. The bishops say that they will continue to push for reforms like the blessing of same-sex unions, but they will not separate from Rome. So, what is the way forward, and what does it mean for the faithful? Joining us now in studio is Martin Rothweiler of EWTN Germany. Martin, great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Wonderful to see you in studio. Talk to us a little bit more about the bishops' meeting with Pope Francis and what happened, what came out of that, if anything.
I think the result was that all the proposals, coming from the synodal path are clearly in contradiction with the doctrine of the Church. And this was made clear by the Pope himself. The Pope himself admonished the German bishops not to have read his letter to the Catholics in Germany and not to have taken this really for serious, and asked them to read this again and again and consider it. I mean, this is something, saying the Pope, you have not taken my role as a Pope serious. So the second thing is also that all the questions like priestly ordination of women, like same-sex marriages or blessing of same-sex marriages, like the structure of the church, what is the role of the bishops? All these basic questions are not in line, with the teaching of the church. This was clearly said and stated by the representatives, by the head of different dicasteries, like the dicastery for the doctrine of faith, Cardinal Ouellet, the dicastery for the bishops, I'm sorry, this was Cardinal Ladaria naturally, and the dicastery for bishops, by Ouellet. So I think this was very, very clear. And I think we can say that probably the time before the ad limina visit cannot be the same like after the ad limina visit, because everything was really made clear. There was even the question of a moratorium of the synodal path, which was kind of rejected by the German bishops. So we will have this 5th plenary session of the General Assembly of the synodal path next year. But, we have to wonder, we have to see, what the bishops going back home will tell the members of the synodal path, of the synodal way. So we are looking forward and have to expect what is coming out of that.
Yeah, and I know that Bishop Batzing, the president of the German Bishops' Conference, he was asked by reporters about this, and he said, we want to be Catholic in a different way. This, as he maintains, that there will not be a break from Rome. So can you help us unpack that kind of confusing, conflicting there? What do you think this means?
I think it's kind of reflecting the ambiguity, of the way not all the German bishops, but especially I think also the president, the chairman of the German Bishops' Conference, is using to explain what he wants. But I think it shows the difference. They want to be Catholic. He said, yes, we are Catholic, we are remaining Catholic, but we want to be Catholic in a different way. So what does this really mean? That's a big question, and especially after this visit to Rome. Will there be any consequences? Will they continue to be disobedient or in disagreement with church teaching? And what does it mean? Is it a schism? Is it not a schism? So it's not clear, and we cannot predict what will be happening. What is clear is probably the strategy to say, okay, we're still in a dialogue, and Rome asked us to continue this dialogue. What is also clear, Rome said, put all the questions which regard the doctrine of the church onto the universal level of the universal church, and don't discuss it just on your own, and take a separate way. So I think Batzing will continue to say, okay, it's not a short distance run, it will be a long distance run, so don't be disappointed. And I think they will still try to keep the expectations that they have provoked under the faithful, or under a part of the faithful at least, maybe the majority, naturally the majority of the synodal way.
Yeah, I mean, this is all very confusing. I'm curious, what are you hearing from the faithful in Germany about this? And also, what about, parish priests? I
think the parish priests are really in a difficulty. If you think they hear confessions and they have to tell the people something or about the Catholic faith, and then the people in the confessional can say, okay, but your bishop tells me different things in the public. So I think this is really a matter of conscience for priests in a very difficult situation. Also for the people in the pews, I think especially of those maybe who practice adoration, Eucharistic adoration, a lot of young movements also who are not in line with the majority, and we see the vast majority of the bishops right now. I think they're in a difficult position. They may be encouraged a little bit by the ad limina visit that we have seen right now and the results of it, at least the clearness in which it was made clear that the synodal path is not in line with the Catholic teaching. But it's very, very difficult and hard for people, and I think especially for priests. But there are hopes, there are good points, I think, also as well in Germany.
And let's bring that up. We're literally almost out of time, probably about 20 seconds left. But what are the bright spots with the church?
I think one of the bright spots is for sure the new Catholic, the Cologne University of Catholic Theology, which is very, very important because there, at least there's the occasion for professors and researchers who are in line with the teaching of the Church who do their profession, because otherwise they would not have a chance in their academic career. And then there are naturally initiatives like Neue Anfang, which really had made public all the concerns with regard to the synodal path, the synodal way, and then movements like praying for the bishops or Germany Prays the Rosary. So there's a lot, I think, especially among young people also, that are clear and spots of hope in Germany.
There's hope. There is hope. Martin, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.